loved school. I loved school, but more for the social.
Yeah, okay.
It was amazing because you got to spend, like, how good you would turn up and then you're there for 6 hours with your friends.
I think you take that for granted and then you
totally.
leave school and you're like, wow, it's really, I have to make effort to see these people.
And you've got so much time. Like, you've actually got so much time. You don't appreciate it. And you're like, oh, I've got double maths. But who cares? Like, you've got so much time, you know, like...
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chip Lunch Podcast. It is amazing to have you along with us, and we've got a full house here, Brayden. Full house. The producer's here for once. And Brayden, you're here.
I am definitely here.
Welcome. You have made it. Good work.
Thank you.
And our guest, Erin. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You were telling me before you've never recorded a podcast before.
I have not.
That's all right. We'll there's like a lot of people, it's their first ever one, isn't it?
Well, I don't think people generally go around doing it.
I don't know. Why aren't people like me?
There's a lot of reasons for that, let's be honest.
I'm on 2 a week, guys. Why isn't anyone else doing this? But yeah, welcome. It's really cool to have you on.
Thanks.
From Cronulla Gathering, that's where you go.
Yes.
At Soul Revival, which is awesome. And you've been there for quite a while now. How long would that be at Cronulla? Approximately.
I don't know. Probably about 4 or 5 years now.
That's cool.
Must have been, so it was post-COVID, so it must have been maybe 4 years. We started heading there. We're at a couple of other churches kind of around COVID times, and we just didn't kind of find our right fit, our right vibe. I knew of Soul Revival, but we were randomly kind of, well, not randomly, but we were sort of looking into Soul Revival in a bit more detail around COVID times, thinking, all right, like when we can kind of go back again, let's try Soul Revival. And then we found that there was a Cronulla gathering, so we thought, let's go there. And so we did.
Because you live reasonably close, don't
we
you?
live in Caringbah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Sorry, Caringbah South.
You do have to say Caringbah
lump
South.
ourselves with the Caringbah crew.
That's right. It's like it's like Caringbah is, and then there's Cronulla, and then in between is Caringbah South. It's like it's where you moved when you can't afford to live in Cronulla.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, the real estate agents will tell you. Oh, that's not a judgment. He quickly follows up with, "That's not a judgment." Yeah, whatever, Joel. The real estate agents will tell you that we live in Lillypilly because obviously, but we're actually 2 blocks away from Lillypilly, so it's a bit of a technical issue. Yeah. But lots of the businesses in our area will just call themselves Lillypilly, and they live further away from Lillypilly than we do. So
nice set of shops in Lillypilly. I like that.
Yeah. The bakery.
Yeah, it's a bakery. Remember there used to be...
There's an IGA.
There used to be that video shop there.
Oh my gosh, no. But yeah, I used to love video shops and CD shops, and I still miss that vibe.
Miss going to Sanity?
Sanity, HMV.
Yeah.
Brashes.
Oh, Brashes. I remember Brashes. What a weird name. Do you remember Brashes?
Oh, you don't. Too young.
I remember I went on my honeymoon, we went to Tasmania, and there was a Sanity in Launceston. And this was like in
Insanity, bro.
2018,
oh,
2019.
Wow.
And we were like, oh my gosh, there's still Sanity.
Do they have internet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow.
Only Tasmania. Yeah,
I'd love going to Sanity. Every time I'm random, Mum, can I go to Sanity and look at all the CDs?
I just spent... So I would hate to think how many hours of my life I spent in music shops.
Yeah.
Music is just like my thing. Like, it's just my jam.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
definitely,
my gosh, like I would just leave school and go hang out. Because I went to school at Port Hacking for a few years.
Like Hudson.
So
yes, gosh, Hudson
we frequently did leave school and hung out at the fair.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I spent a lot of time in music shops when I should have been in school. But I had a great time.
Yeah, absolutely. Brashes. I still, I'm like remembering their brand right now. Was it yellow and black?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, it was too long ago.
I'll look it
But
up.
I remember we had a school excursion to the city, and I can't even remember what the excursion was for or what we were supposed to be doing. But a group of us just went to Brushes, basically. So this is when I was in Goulburn. I went to school in Goulburn at this stage.
Right.
And so we travelled up on the train, and I can't even remember what the excursion was for, which shows you my mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
But what a great day. Like, we just hung out in the city and went to Brushes.
Brushes was founded in 1862. And so it was founded by a German-Australian, Marcus Brash, which had like a C in the name. So it was Brasschhs.
Yeah.
And then they changed it. But it was in Melbourne in 1862.
Yeah.
So is it like
old
a
school.
tech? Is it like Sanity, where it's like CDs and DVDs and stuff? Or is
Music
it
and
like-
electronics.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Kind of
That's-
like JB Hi-Fi, like an
Yeah.
old version of
Yeah.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it?
JB Hi-Fi.
Remember that
What was the
logo?
bit in
Back in
Maya?
the day.
What was the bit in Maya that was like Virgin Music or something
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
where it was like all this? They had. Remember, you'd like go in, they'd have the CDs like
Yeah,
in
all
the
the
thing
sound
and the headphones,
sound
and you could-
systems
and
and
green.
stuff.
You could listen to the CD before you bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's like all the music shops used to
Yeah.
go in there.
Yeah.
And then there used to be a queue for the headphones,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Sanity, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yep. Not anymore. Get it on
Yeah.
your phone.
Hudson, have you got any idea what we're talking about?
I know DVDs.
I was actually my friend.
Cassette tapes
My
we
friend
used to
sent me
listen to.
this week on Instagram. He was like, "Oh, Metallica are like reissuing this cassette," and I was like, "That's sick." But do you have anything
Way
to
of
listen?
playing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, "Do you have a Walkman or something?" He's like, "No." I'm like, I realized that a little while ago. Our internet was down for a couple of days, and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch a DVD," and I'm like, "I don't have anything to watch my DVDs on."
So we have thousands of DVDs,
Yeah.
thousands of CDs, nothing to play them on now.
Yeah,
What was I going to say? Oh, so my favorite band just released. They've just dropped like news that they're
Who is this? What's your favorite band?
DMAs.
yes.
Oh.
Oh, I love you. You know them.
He
Yeah.
knows heaps of music.
Oh
He
my
knows-
gosh.
Who
No
DMAs?
one knows
much
them, and they're
younger.
just
I don't know
missing
them.
out on life.
Really? Oh, okay. I feel like DMAs are huge, especially in Australia.
Oh, I'd say
Depending
they're
on where
bigger in the UK.
They are
They
bigger
don't
in
get
the
played here. Only
Oh, Triple J. But like,
yeah. So like if you're
I feel like that Share cover like really blew them up for a lot of people.
yeah
Yes.
yeah true.
They did a really good Leica version for people.
Oh, okay, right.
Yes.
So they're dropping a new album in August, which I'm
yes.
dying for. And anyway, they
August is so far away.
I know, I know. But they came out with all like, so they've done like a newslettery type thing saying, okay, like here's our kind of second single from the album. The album's out in August and we're playing a show in December, which I do already have tickets for. And yeah, they did all the formats of the release, and one of them was
It's
a cassette.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, because remember, vinyl started coming back,
Yeah, it has been.
like years ago.
Yeah.
And so now vinyl's quite big, but now it's like the new vinyl.
Yeah, but the thing that I don't understand is like cassettes degrade.
I know.
Vinyl, at least, like if you take care of it, it
Yeah,
will last a
yeah.
long time. Whereas
I
cassettes
know.
warp.
So
and
there was
like,
a reason we got rid of cassettes.
Like but yeah, someone's got a Walkman, I'm sure, or something you could listen to it on. Do you have anything to listen
well,
to?
I'm not going to. No,
I'm gonna buy it.
No, I'm not going to buy the cassette because no, but I do like vinyl. Yeah.
Vinyl is nice. The sound is very nice. Should we should ask the first question.
Probably,
Yeah,
but
done
I'm
for a
enjoying
while.
this conversation.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough.
Yeah, this is you talking to two like music, people. So
fine.
good luck.
While you if you were going to a DMAs or their original name Dirty Mars, I just found out.
Oh, yep, good, fast researching.
Thank you. Fast fingers. That's what they call me. Fastest fingers in the podcast space.
Yes.
You just went.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Brayden just goes, yes. Which is, let's just appease this guy.
Keep moving, Joel.
Moving on.
Erin, how
Yes,
do you like
Joel?
to eat your hot chips?
Okay. You have to keep talking to me after, this conversation though. So just,
Well, we've had some bad ones.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. It's just, I know you're strong aversion to chicken salt, and I will not accept anything less than lots of chicken salt on my chips.
I feel like we're back on track. We haven't had chicken salt for a while.
It's just like, and I was listening to someone's podcast, and they were making the point of chicken salt, and I don't know whether it was you, Brayden, that was saying this. Like it's your one thing that you have chicken salt on.
Yeah.
Like your hot chips. And it's like it is a match made in heaven. It's just a chip without chicken salt is hardly a chip.
Oh. Well, you know that we even before the podcast we realized that we probably can't go out for dinner together, Erin.
No.
Because we realized that I don't like coffee.
We're incompatible.
And you're ridiculous. How ridiculous you don't like coffee. And then we'd gone on to how I love having cold drinks, and you're like, I hate iced water. So it doesn't surprise me.
Opposites.
Yeah, we're complete opposite when it comes to chips as well. Any sauce?
No.
Okay.
I grew up, I used to work in a pub and in the country, and I grew up eating a lot of chips and gravy.
Oh, yeah.
So I do like chips and gravy, even though so normally I like my hot chips quite crispy. So just cook them and then keep cooking them.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush. I'd rather wait and have crispy hot chips than...
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
And I like the ones,
soggy.
I don't like the big, those ones where they go, old fashioned hand cut thick chips, or, thick cut chips or whatever. I'm like, there's too much potato to fat ratio.
There's not enough chicken salt.
And not enough chicken salt. I like them kind of thin, not French fry thin, but thin. Crispy. Lots of chicken salt.
That's fair.
Yeah. Maybe some gravy.
We'll allow it.
Oh, how accommodating of you. What a guy. Top bloke.
Keep going.
I've run out of things to say.
Yes. So the second question though that we asked is, how did you become a Christian?
I grew up in a Christian family. So basically from birth I kind of, started hearing about God. My family went to church, it was just routine. So I did all of the things, like we went to Sylvania Uniting back in the day.
Oh, okay.
The big triangle church on the corner of the highway down near the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was our family church when I was growing up. So did Sunday school and all of that sort of stuff back in the day. And then when I was maybe in year 2, 6 or 7, my parents bought a place in the country, and then we started splitting time between the Shire and the country. And so then weekdays were spent in the city. So we would continue on at our kind of school, and Dad would continue on at work and all of that sort of stuff. And then weekends we would travel down to a little country town called Taralga, which is about half an hour away from Goulburn. And we would work kind of for the weekend down there, and then come back up on Sunday night ready for the week again. So that was kind of, a lot of my childhood was kind of spent in that kind of different, unusual kind of way. So then we didn't kind of go to church a lot of the time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how that worked.
And then we we eventually then moved full time to the country. And when we sort of settled there, we started going. There was a little Presbyterian church in the country town, which had about maybe, I'm going to say like under 10, maybe maximum of 10 attendees, quite elderly. And then there was us. And so we started attending that church, which wasn't overly amazing for a young person, but anyway, and then when I finished school, I worked kind of 2 jobs for a year, save up enough money to kind of move back to the city. And so then when I moved up here, I'd stayed in touch with some of my school friends from up here, and they went to Gymea Baptist Church, so I started going along there with them. And so then I was there for a lot of years, and that was kind of where I cemented my my faith.
Yeah, okay. Were there any moments in that kind of journey that you articulated there where you were like, oh yes, I am a Christian?
Yeah, and it was very much a roller coaster. So I would say, like, when I was younger, I didn't think about it all that much. There was no kind of active thought process of, me kind of thinking I'm choosing to follow God so much, as it was just kind of naturally accepted, I think.
This is what you did.
Just what we did. So yeah, I did something called kind of Christian education outside of church as well. So we went to church, we did scripture in school, and then I did this Christian education thing like on a weekday at a church across the road from school as well. So there was lots of kind of Christianity in my life, but yeah, it wasn't kind of right, I am actively following God, and it was just kind of something that we did. But it was obviously laying a foundation, even if I wasn't thinking about it in a huge amount of depth. And then when I was in high school, so I started high school in the city and then transferred to high school in the country. So I went to high school. I finished year 9, 10, 11, 12 in Goulburn. I want to say the term attending school quite loosely. But when I was at school, there was a very small group of us, maybe like 3 or 4 of us, that kind of identified as Christians, or were happy to kind of identify ourselves as Christians at that time. And we started an ISCF at school. So I guess, that was a time when I was like, yes, I want to do this. I'm a Christian. But there were other times when I then would like go to parties and like be drinking, and there would be nothing identifiable about me, as a Christian. And so I don't know, it was a bit of a hot and cold kind of, but it wasn't kind of actively, hot and cold kind of at that point. It was just I don't know. I just don't think I really put that much thought into it. Yeah. It wasn't until later in my life, like when I was at Gymea Baptist and I was living up in Sydney again, that there was a moment at some point around the year 2000 or early 2000s that I kind of sat down and kind of went, I really need to think about this and make a choice for myself. Like, am I just doing this? Yeah. Because it's kind of just what's happening in life and I'm hanging out with people who are going for church, or do I actively kind of believe this? And it was at that point that I was like, no, I actively believe this. And so I was like, all right, that's it, right? I've got to make a choice here.
How old were you when you did that?
Probably about 20, I think. 21.
I was just going to ask, do you think like something definitely changed after that for you?
Well, interestingly, I then, again, no like big kind of lightning bolt moments. And I just felt no different. It was just that like I kind of thought I need to, just decide what I'm kind of doing. And so, yes, I kind of at that point kind of said, well, no, I believe this and I'm a Christian, and but I don't think anything kind of drastically changed. But I've always been an open book. I've always been like, I would always kind of talk about what I believed or what I did and why I did it, kind of thing, even if I wasn't 100%, this is what I believe, this is why, blah, 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 you should believe it too. I would talk about kind of that I went to church and why I went to church and that I believed in God and that kind of stuff. But then I would just kind of equally not actively make choices that showed that sometimes as well. So that's what I mean. Like, it was kind of a bit, I don't know what the right kind of words are. But even after that point, I feel like nothing kind of changed. I was like, yes, I believe it. It's true.
Yep.
And continued on at church, and I was very involved at church in music ministry, like youth ministry. But there were still times when I just would, do my own kind of thing and not really put that much thought into stuff. But I think part of it is just being young and I don't know. Anyway, but then after there was a time, even after I'd made that choice, where I went through some stuff and I actively tried really hard to turn my back on God. So even after I'd kind of made that commitment, it wasn't kind of it for me. Like I did try to like really distance myself from God. But turns out I couldn't, because in my heart I did always believe.
Do you want to tell us about that?
That it was the truth.
What was the reason you wanted to push God away?
I was just caught up in some kind of relationships around that time, and they were not compatible with Christianity.
I see.
It was just a huge struggle for me to reconcile that, because I loved being part of the church, and I did believe deep down in my heart that God was true, and I knew that I had kind of made that choice to follow God, but at the same time I was kind of caught up in this lifestyle, and I was just unprepared to not see how uneloquent I can be. I just don't know how to describe it. I didn't want to remove myself from that. I wanted both.
Yeah.
And then there came a time when I was like, oh, this is not, I was just so messed up. And again, there came a kind of a second time of like, I need to sort myself out here. And I did that with the help of actually like one of my friend's dads, and he helped me kind of approach the leadership kind of at the church. And I kind of had to have a meeting with the leadership at Gymea Baptist and say, here's what's been going on, and I've been involved in ministry this whole time, and I need to now like step kind of down from all of that, because I've been basically living a double life, and there was some kind of other people caught up in it as well, and so there was a lot of kind of fallout from that, and then I kind of was a bit on and off at church for a while after that.
I can understand that.
But luckily, thanks to, I guess, the foundation that had been laid by my family and churches in the past, luckily I did have that kind of deep faith instilled in me, and it was enough to, make me kind of hold on and know that it was true. And so even though, there was a time where I was kind of like coming and going and like really kind of unsure about where I fit, and like it wasn't what I believed, but it was more about me not changing God to fit with me, but in the same way, the struggles that I have to this day, I still kind of struggling to know how they fit into Christianity. Just really struggled with all that kind of stuff. But it ended up through that time, also got married. Sorry, and it sounds like I was like really still questioning my faith. I wasn't questioning my faith at that time. It was more like the bigger questions of, right, I know that this is true and I do want to follow God. I just don't kind of know how to do that, and I don't know how to reconcile some things with God. So yeah, got married in that time, and then my husband Chris was also basically Christian all his life. And so I just think like he helped to kind of ground me and just help me to cement, my faith and that kind of stuff. So then as we journeyed together, we tried a few different churches, and then we ended up at Soul Revival, and I guess it's been, like now there's no question of like me trying to turn my back on God or anything like that again. I 100% committed. No, it's true. That kind of stuff. But yeah, I just think it's, for me, there's been no kind of big lightning bolt moments or, defining moments that I can pick out. It's very much been an up and down roller coaster journey with like comings and goings, but I've ended up in a pretty solid place through all of it.
Yeah, I suppose when I ask that question, I'm not looking for you to, not many people say they have a lightning bolt moment.
Yeah,
to be honest. It's more, sometimes I think there's also something really special in the day-to-day of going, I'm choosing to follow God each day.
Yeah.
And as you're saying there, sometimes it's harder than, some days are harder than others.
Yeah.
And I definitely hear you saying that as well, and I'm the same. Sometimes you're like, really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you though, you talk about living in the country and the city. I think it's funny describing the Shire as the city, but it just sounds funny. But it is the city. It is definitely the city. Can you contrast what it was like between growing up in the Shire, in the time that you did, and also growing up when you're in the country? And which parts do you prefer?
Yeah, that's tricky.
Because you obviously wanted to move back, like you said, you saved up and wanted to move back.
So something else you should know about me, which is a big part of like who I am, is that I don't have favorites. I can never pick a favorite.
Okay.
So even if it's something super basic like
Chicken salt.
Okay, maybe one. But even if it's like a colour, or I can't, because I might say, oh, I love green so much, but I'm like, what about blue? Oh, I feel bad for orange, I just can't. I have no favourites. Even with, music, songs, bands, I would say DMAs would be close to my favourite. But what I do is like I have kind of tier 1, tier 2. So because a song will come on, I'm like, oh, this is the best song ever written, the best song in the world. And what I mean by that is it's a level 1 because it's up there with 5 billion other best songs ever written, kind of thing. So I can't pick favorites. So again, there's good and bad of everything. Living in the city, living in the country, very different. Beautiful for different reasons, hard for different reasons.
When your parents said, "Hey, we're going to move here full time," were you happy about
that? No. Because I was in year 9 at high school.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough time to go do it.
Yeah. So no, it was. But with hindsight, am I happy about it? Yes and no. If my life had continued on, at Port Hacking High with my friends, it would have been great, but in different ways. But because it changed so dramatically, I met new friends. I met new people. I had new experiences. It broadened my horizons, gave me so much more perspective in different ways. It's hard to say. The country I love the slower pace, the open spaces, the quiet, the nature, just the sights, the smells, the some of the people.
What did school look like in the country then? Like, compared to year 9 at Port Hacking High.
Do they have schools there? That's what it sounded like you're asking. Yeah.
Well,
how
I
did
finished school in
differ?
Goulburn. So in my country town, there were actually 2 schools, but they were both primary school. There was no high school
Right.
that you could kind of go to. So you had to finish
Taralga,
school.
right?
Taralga, yeah. So there was a Catholic school and then a public school there. And then you had to finish school in Goulburn, basically. So I don't know. I just feel like it was kind of, we went to one of the public schools in Goulburn. It was like just your regular kind of public school.
It's a bit of a trek from Taralga to
Yeah, it was
Goulburn,
an
though.
hour on the
Yeah.
school bus.
Yeah.
So we would have to catch this, and it was so annoying because we would have to catch the school bus at 7 o'clock in the morning. We
Wow.
would have to be there to catch the school bus. If you missed the bus, it was a big deal because then your parents would have to drive you
and
half
they're
an
not-
hour into Goulburn and drive you, so you had to kind of be there.
Get on the bus. I'm not driving you to school.
Yeah. And then you'd spend an hour on the bus just making your way in there because the bus would like take off from town and then along the road to Goulburn it would stop at every kind of driveway to pick up all the people from the properties on the way so it would just take so long to get there. And then it got to Goulburn and then it had to go around to all the schools. So there was like primary schools, high schools, private schools. It would have to make the rounds of all the schools in Goulburn. So my school was basically like the first drop.
Oh, that's good.
I thought you were going to say last.
Good and bad, but it meant that I would get to school at like kind of 8:15 or something in the morning, and school didn't start till 9, and no one was there. And so then I would just be like hanging around at school for 45 minutes, so it was just kind of hard, but it had to because you had to drop us and then go, get to all the other schools and get to the final school kind of before the bell went. And then in reverse, we were kind of the first pickup. And then we had to do
all
like
the
the
pickup.
scenic tour of Goulburn every afternoon,
okay.
go around to all the schools to pick everybody up and then start the trek back to Taralga. So it was just this long involved kind of process.
Was it good vibes on the bus though? What did that mean?
I used to love the bus.
Again, not really. It was cliquey because it was a country town. If you weren't born and bred there, you were a blow-in. So we were always blow-ins. So we never quite, 100% fit in. So
Where did you have to sit? Because that would
we
picture
had
there was like,
so I had friends to sit with. I had people to sit with, but we were never 100% kind of besties. We were always a little bit kind of on the outer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I had people who were nice enough for the most part, but like it was never.
Was the seat as like on the left, 5th row back or something? You just had to sit in the same spot every time?
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, it was roughly like the same area, but I can't actually remember that, but I'm sure it was kind of, a bit of a thing. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We used to have a lot of fun on the school bus. Yeah.
Did you?
A lot of chaos.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot. There was a lot of us that all lived in a similar area, so we
Yeah.
would kind of take over.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and then school was, like just kind of.
Was it hard stepping in year 9 when like everyone's already got their kind of
Yeah, it
groups?
was.
I reckon
Yeah.
that would've
It was
been hard.
really hard to leave like my friends where I was.
Yeah.
But I did stay in touch. So back in the day before the interwebs, we used to write letters. So I got into the habit of writing letters to my group of friends and they would write back, and we just spent years
That's fun.
kind of writing these long letters and posting them to each other, and we stayed in touch. And also I used to come back to Sydney in the school holidays and stay with my grandmother and then like just spend kind of a week with my friends. So we stayed in touch, which was really good. So when I finished school, that's why I kind of wanted to move back here, and I had that foundation of like those friends already. So that was really good. But yeah, it was really hard to kind of leave them at that time in life. And it was hard then to be at a new school and be the new kid. And it was really difficult.
But like year 9, year 10, that's a pretty tough time.
Yeah.
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 So to have to jump into that. Did you You've hinted a couple of times you didn't spend a lot of time at school. Did you like school, or you just didn't
I
like?
loved school. I loved school, but more for the social.
Yeah, okay.
It was amazing because you got to spend, like, how good you would turn up and then you're there for 6 hours with your friends.
I think you take that for granted, and then you
totally.
leave school and you're like, wow, it's really, I have to make effort to see these people.
Time. Like,
Yeah.
you've actually got so much time.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate it, and you're like, oh, I've got double maths. But who cares? Like, you've got so much time, you know,
Yeah.
like, and so, and I loved that. I had the best time. I had the most fun. I was very much like, a sort of a drifter at school. I was just kind of friends with everybody. And I probably had like groups that were kind of my closest friends. But yeah, I just used to hang out with like all of the groups, all of the people. I just had the best fun hanging out with people. When I was at school at Port Hacking, I attended school much more than I did in my later years. In saying that, we did spend a lot of time across it at the fair, just because of the location of the school and like when we could duck out, we did. But I feel I was at school kind of for the most part. Whether I was in class or in the principal's office was another question. Or was just in the halls hanging out because I was sent out of class. But it wasn't because it was just because I was talking too much.
I get that too.
I know
I got that
you're
too.
shocked. I can tell you're shocked from the look on your face. I was talking and disruptive.
That's what I got sent out for all
Yeah.
the time, was talking or yelling at someone.
Mine was talking,
Shut
laughing,
up.
like being you know, disrupting the class. So, and that was fine. I was never in trouble. I was just never learnt my lesson to stop talking.
I hated that, being out in the hallway though.
Oh, I didn't mind because then I would visit my other friends' classes. I'd poke my head in the door. And so that's why I ended up getting sent to the principal's office, because they said, now you're in the hall and you're disrupting not just your class, but other classes. Anyway. But it was just all fun. Like the principal was the assistant principal. He was great. He would just roll his eyes and kind of laugh and be like, "Oh my gosh, when are you going to learn?" I'd be like,
That's the thing. I hated it so much, but I never changed my behaviour inside the class.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I might get sent out.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't care.
No. No, I didn't care. But then when I was in Goulburn, the school was very lax in terms of...
I was going to ask you, how do you arrive at school at 8:15 and then you're like, oh, I didn't go to class today?
Because once I'd made friends down there... Oh, look, and in year 9 and 10, I probably did attend school, like, again, for the most part. But in our senior years, once I'd made friends down there, I would get off the bus kind of outside school, or like there was a primary school that was kind of near our school. So I would get off at the primary school instead of my school and meet my friends, and then we just like walk into town or something, or go to one of their houses or something like that. So according to my parents, I'd gotten on the school bus and I'd gone to school. And the school was so lax that when I didn't turn up at school, they never called home, like they never sent a note home or anything saying like, she's not actually turning up on a repeated basis. So as far as my parents knew, I was getting on the bus going to school, getting on the bus coming home.
Yeah.
They had no reason to believe I wasn't at school. And that's the school's failing. It's pretty bad.
That's right. It's not
but
your
it
fault.
suited me kind of at the
It's definitely
time.
the school's fault.
But it was served my purposes quite nicely, thanks. But so that's what I mean. Like I, again, wasn't doing anything untoward, but just wasn't.
Well, it's just the
turning
social
up.
aspect. You're just hanging out.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
Like, that
yeah.
seems fun. Today.
Or we'd go to school and we'd be there for a bit, but then you start having free periods and stuff, and then we just like go, and then we just wouldn't come back or whatever.
Free
Yeah.
periods.
It
are
was
great.
just too easy to do because they didn't have any way of kind of stopping us, or they didn't care enough to stop us. And when we would walk out, so when we were in year 12, we actually had a common room which was over the side of the school, and we could just walk out through the bush and like no one would see us, which
Sorry,
was
it just sounds fun.
which was fine. But before that, like we would just leave like out the front gate, so you'd walk out of school past the principal's office. And whether he was in there or not, I don't know. But see, and again, like no one ever stopped us. And I'm going, we're walking past the front office and the principal's office, and no one's ever stopped us walking out of school.
Yeah.
So if no one stops you, you're not going to stop doing it, are you?
I feel like they didn't really care until they put the black fences around schools, to be honest.
Oh, no, they definitely cared before then.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
We had
Not
friends
in
that
Goulburn, they
lived
didn't.
around Kirrawee High, and you just go to their house for a bit and then come back.
Yeah, we couldn't do
Just
that.
depended.
I don't
So
know
that's
why.
we just did heaps of that. Like we'd just
Yeah.
go into town, we'd go to the shops, or we'd hang out like at a park or like at a there was disused railway lines that we that we used to
The
hang
other side
out
of the
at.
tracks.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So but I loved it. It was great. I just had the greatest time. Yeah.
Maybe I was just too scared to sneak out. Do you know who the people who tried to get us to jig the most? It's our youth leaders. Like Stu and Tim who would come into school and be like, yeah, come to 580 Chinese with us. We did it once. But
Is that all? See, I would
Once.
have been there every time.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's a
580,
much better offer than going to school.
I think also like my parents would have been like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They would not have liked me leaving school.
Yeah.
But so your school would have said something if you weren't attending.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right?
Truancy.
We just had free reign, and no one ever knew. My parents. I remember getting my final report. So after I'd sat for my HSC or whatever it was called back in those days,
sat in the chair.
I literally though.
Yeah.
In those days that you turned up for your exam. So by this stage, this is year 12, I was kind of barely going to school, was not doing any of my assignments or anything like that. I'd politely debate with my teachers the merits of me, doing my assignments or not.
Why would I do it, miss?
I just but I was, again, perfectly honest and perfectly polite about it. I wasn't naughty as
You don't know
such.
how to like disrupt. No,
I wasn't.
not
I
disruptive.
wasn't.
Not disobedient. I'm trying to think of the right word.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do the work,
Yeah.
and I would just say that to them. I just don't want to do it. I just I just don't want to do it. And I said, look, at the end of the day, like it's my choice, and I know it's your role as a teacher to want to, kind of inspire me to do the work, or you can see the benefit in me doing the work, and I know that I can see the benefit in me doing the work too, but I just don't want to do it. Like
I can hear that. I can imagine being the teacher right there.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to
there's
do it.
nothing that they could do, and because the school wasn't telling my parents, there was nothing that they could do about it. So I was just
Amazing.
like, if you're not going to say anything to my parents, why am I going to start doing the work? I'm having a great time. So yeah, I would have those conversations with them, and they were just like, yeah, you're right, we can't kind of force you. So I'd be like, yeah, okay, thanks, bye. Then off I'd go. Yeah, so, and then yeah, for the HSC, I did zero study for my exams, and there was I don't know if it's kind of still the same. You have to turn up for your exam. They mark your name off the register. In those days, you had to stay for 20 minutes of your exam period for your attendance to be recorded, kind of thing. Yeah. So I literally would stay for the 20 minutes, answer the multiple choice, and then leave. Well, I did that I did chemistry in...
Nice.
What on earth was I thinking?
All the way to year 12?
I don't understand like what was going on in my brain in those days. Yeah, not a lot. But I did that for my chemistry exam. I stayed for the 20 minutes and left. And then when I went down the street with my friends and we were at the shops, and I ran into my biology teacher down there, and he said, pretty sure you have an exam at this. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I've been.
I'll finish it.
I'm done. And he was just, oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway.
Did you know what you wanted? Like,
No.
it sounds like you enjoyed school.
Yeah.
In terms of, you enjoyed the
Socialising.
aspect
Yes.
of it. Did you have any idea what was next?
No. No. And
Was
that's
that
why.
something that you were
That's
like
why.
apprehensive about? Or
No.
it was just like,
No.
don't care?
Don't care.
Yeah.
No, I kind of had no direction, and that's why.
Yeah.
Like I just had no goal, I guess. Nothing to kind of strive for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just very much, if I stayed in the country, it was basically marry a farmer and start popping out children. Like, so hence the reason I wanted to move back up to the city.
Yeah.
But it was just like, again, I didn't have something that I was, like a career path that I was trying to follow.
Yeah.
So kind of didn't enroll for uni because I thought, what's the point of enrolling something I don't know what I want to do? So I just said I'll just kind of move up there, get a job and see what happens. And so that's kind of what I did. But I think that was why I had that attitude as well. I was like, I just don't know where I'm going in life. I kind of have nothing that I'm trying to get into or get a certain mark for or whatever. So I was pretty lackadaisical about the whole thing. Yeah.
But it seemed like you were motivated enough to get back to moving back to the Shire, like working 2 jobs and stuff. So that was like a little goal, but
yeah.
Like,
Well, that was just to get me back here because life in the country wasn't what I sort of wanted. I did want to come back here. So I finished school. I worked in the pub. So I worked in the pub since I think I was 15 or something when I started working there. I was supposed to be like a kitchen hand, but I ended up being a bit of a jack of all trades. I just did, kitchen hand, waitressing, cleaning, and I would also serve at the bar if they were short-staffed, which was hilarious because the local policeman used to come in and obviously the 15-year-old would pull his beer for him and he was like, thanks. So quite funny. But obviously I guess, he knew I wasn't up to, so I was kind of not the right thing to do or whatever, but he knew that I wasn't doing anything too untoward, I guess. So he just didn't care. So and then I worked, when I finished school, I worked just as much as I could at the pub. And then my mother also ran a coffee shop and kind of wine tasting rooms down there as well at the time. Nice. And so I worked there with her, which was good and bad. We butted heads a lot.
Mum, I'm just talking to the people.
Yeah. Anyway, I saved up enough.
Hallway.
I saved up enough money through those jobs just to get me kind of up to Sydney, and I kind of crashed up here with one of my school friends that I'd stay in touch with. Got a job at kind of like a Donut King. And then from there I kind of found a traineeship office job and did TAFE and sort of started office work. After that I stayed with that company and then I became like a PA to the CFO there. And then I that's kind of what kind of gave me my now career, I guess, in office work. So I guess it was just I'll get a job and see what happens, see how it all kind of pans out, and it's very much what happened.
Which Donut King?
So it wasn't the
Parkside
Donut
Plaza?
King brand. It was the same kind of principle, but it was DCM.
Oh yeah, I know.
Okay, right.
Because
no one knows DCM.
Donuts,
and it sounds,
coffee,
and I think they're
milkshakes? Donuts, coffee, milkshake?
muffins. I
Muffins.
think. I know. It just sounds so bad. So that's why I kind of say a Donut King like place.
Where was that?
Menno
Oh,
Marketplace.
I don't think I went to that one.
Yeah.
DCM. Where else was DCM? I think there was one.
I
in
don't
Random
know.
I remember it.
Yeah.
I don't.
I've wiped that from my mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but that kind of just got me, my start, because I worked there kind of full time, and then I was able to then rent a unit, and then I found the business administration kind of traineeship, and then that got me into office, and then I worked for the Sydney Anglican Schools Corporation back in those days, so that's who I did that with. And then I worked for a guy called Greg Bridge, who was the CFO there at the time, and he he went into bat for me, so I owe him a lot. And he said, no, like I want her to stay after my traineeship was finished, and so he kind of gave me the job as his PA, and so I worked with him for a few years. He was lovely, and then I was then just, I don't know, feeling like a bit of a small fish in a big pond, and just wanted to experience like the big smoke. So I got a job in the city. Like I applied for a PA role, and then hilariously that was with another Christian guy. I didn't know he was a Christian at the time, but he worked in finance. He was kind of, again, like the finance manager of a big accounting firm, and he wanted a PA, and so I interviewed for the role, got the role, and then when I started working for him, I just found myself doing accounts payable and accounts receivable like with my time, and I hated it because I hate numbers, I hate finance. Numbers do not work in my brain. And I went into him and I said, this is not what I signed up for. What am I doing? I don't like doing this. Anyway, he basically said, yeah, I don't kind of know what I was thinking. I don't actually have the work for a PA. It was just so bizarre. And I was like, well, I'm going to have to leave. And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. It was just like such a bizarre kind of thing. He was the nicest guy, but just, like I was just like, okay, cool. Great. See you, thanks.
Thanks for kind of firing me.
And I went into HR and I just kind of said, like, what had happened. I said, I'm going to have to leave because I don't want to be doing accounts work. It's, like not me kind of thing. And incidentally, they were looking for a junior HR like coordinator just to like start to join the team. And so I said, what about, would you consider like me for that role? I have no experience, but I can administrate. And they said, why not? Let's see how it goes. Good. And so that's how I got into HR. And that's what I mean. Like things just kind of just panned out, like, so, and that was great. Like that was like probably my favorite ever like role that I've had. I loved it, like loved the team, loved the work. It was, like city office vibes, Friday night drinks. It was like a great group of people. It was, we did heaps of like family oriented kind of stuff. Like we'd have family picnic days and events, like big events, big Christmas party, themed Christmas parties. It was amazing. And then I met, so my boss at the time became one of my best friends, and she still is one of my best friends. And then, I left that job. The team sort of went our separate way, and then my boss eventually started her own HR consulting business, and she recruited all of us back. So that was also great, working for her again. Mm-hmm. And then, I had the kids, and then priorities changed. Life got, tricky. So as much as I then loved working for her as well, the time had come to kind of get a job closer to home. I've eventually kind of wound up in my current role, still in HR, but very, very different, out of the corporate world, working for a demolition company. Very different vibes, but equally good. Have met again a great Christian people at work.
Wow, God keeps putting them in your life at work, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I just feel very blessed, very lucky. The kindest, nicest people you will ever meet, the most generous people. I have all the flexibility I need to manage life with a family. I'm working 5 minutes from home, so I travel from Caringbah South to Caringbah for work.
A bit of a step down,
but yes. But what a blessing. So I just feel God's really, just really provided in these. And, like no lightning bolt kind of moments. It's just, I'm meandering my way through a very ordinary kind of life, but God is going ahead and, just, I guess, paving the way
Paving
for
the
me.
way.
Yeah.
We have to demolish it first, and you can. Pave
Yeah,
it.
that's 100%. Get all the rubble out of the way.
Well, that might be a good time to finish up on your part one
Yep.
of this podcast.
Yep.
We're going to return afterwards, and I want to ask about like how you managed to find a church and stuff when you first moved back to Sydney and things like that.
Yep.
So let's save that for part two. This has been part one of Erin's Ship
dun.
Channel. This is the cliffhanger we want to leave people on.
Yeah.
But we'll be back very soon. See you soon.
Woo!